Hey friends, welcome back. This week we're getting real and we're talking about a hot topic that I get fired up about. I actually get a little bit righteously angry about this topic, and it's debt. I want you to break up with your debt. I want you to get angry at your debt because there's something better on the other side waiting for you. And that's a life that's going to be more fulfilling and more purposeful when you get to put options back on your table to do that thing that you love, to buy back time with your family, to put more money and time towards your passions, and to be more generous, either volunteering your time more or being more generous financially to your family, your loved ones, in the community. There's way more waiting for you that the debt is keeping you back from. And I want you to get fired up about getting rid of your debt. I'm going to give you a practical application in this video called a debt snowball. I'm going to tell you a little bit about that. I'm also dropping 2 links in the description that I'd love for you to check out. One is a link that's going to share 6 ways that you can free up more cash in your paycheck to help pay off your debt. And the other one is going to be a link to an actual practical application, like a whole illustration of a debt snowball. Craig Rochelle does this. He's the pastor of Life Church, and he's funny too. So he does a really good job. Just check him out in that link, and I think it'll be entertaining too, but I think it'll also be motivating. So why am I so fired up? This is fresh because I was just over my parents' house, and my dad was pointing out that he was shocked at how high this credit card interest was. He took a promotional period on a credit card offer, but look at this, 35%. That's huge. That means your credit card company is making a great investment in you. You are the investment because you're turning around a really good return for them at 35%. You can't find that in the stock market. I looked that up. The S&P 500, the S&P index, which is kind of like a standard that you can go by, if you will. The last time it was anywhere near that was 20 years ago, 1995. 30 years. Oh my, sorry. Head math. Oh my gosh. Wow, that feels like a long time ago. Well, there you go. So it was at just about 37% that long ago. The average right now is, in the last 20 years, is under 10% for the S&P when you're investing in the stock market. But your credit card companies, day in and day out, are getting 35% on you. And I know that you can feel it. I've been there. I know what a trap it feels like. I know how much weight that puts on your shoulders. I realize it feels like it's impossible, like it's an impossible mountain to climb or elephant to eat. And they say, how do you eat an elephant? 1 bite at a time. So you're going to do that with a debt snowball. But before I get into that, I want to share something that I think is really valuable for you to know. And when I'm talking about this particular credit card offer, this was a deferred interest offer. This is important to know what deferred interest means. There's 0% interest and there's deferred interest. A lot more frequently, you're seeing 0% interest offers. That means that during a particular time, they won't charge interest on your purchases. So you can pay it off if you want and never actually have to pay interest if you paid off before the promotional period ends. So if it's a 6-month 0% interest, you can pay it off in 6 months, never pay interest. And once that promotional period expires, this is for a 0% interest, then whatever's left over at the end of that, you do pay their interest rate on. It could be 35%, it could be 20%, it could be, you have to look at the terms. It could be anything. And so you only pay interest on the balance. So if you have $100 left over after the promotional period, you're only paying interest on the $100 left over. However, with deferred interest, this is the tricky wording. The interest is accumulating during that promotional period. So if you take the same example, you have a deferred interest agreement. They're just saying, we'll defer the interest, but if at the end of that 6-month period, let's use that example as a 6-month deferred interest promotion. If you get to the end of that and you have even 50 cents, $1, $2 out of, even if it's $1,000 and you only have $1 left, they backtrack and you owe interest on the entire amount going back to the original purchase. That's a lot. So that would be 35% on $1,000 in that case that you owe, even if you only had $1 left at the end of that promotional period. So it's really important to know the terms you've signed up for. It's important to know the terms that you're dealing with so that you can understand why it's so important to pay that debt off. But especially if you have any deferred interest credit cards, get rid of that ASAP. The debt snowball is a really powerful way. So let me talk about that for a second. That's the other link I'm dropping in the description is Craig Rochelle's illustration of that. So jump in there, watch the whole demonstration. It's like 10 minutes long. And a debt snowball is simply gaining momentum just like a snowball by getting rid of your smallest debt first and then working your way down the list. And the reason why it builds momentum is as soon as you get rid of that smallest debt, you don't put that money back in your budget for personal spend or other spending. You put that towards the next debt. So now you've got the old credit card payment off. That the same amount you were paying against the lowest debt now is going towards the second debt. And then when you pay those, now those two are paid off, you're going to put those two payment equivalents towards the third debt, so on and so forth. And it builds momentum just like a snowball. It's a little counterintuitive. There's an argument for the debt avalanche, which is the opposite. You're paying the highest interest off first. But this is why you're doing the debt snowball, is because in your head, you really need to feel success in paying off something and in building that momentum. The difference is immaterial, but most people don't stick to the debt avalanche as much as they stick to the debt snowball, because the debt snowball builds confidence in the behavior. It's encouraging you to continue going because it feels so good. Trust me, if you haven't ever paid off a credit card and said bye-bye to that interest, oh, it feels good. You can cut it up. You can be done with it. It feels good to be free from that burden. And as I shared with you, I do still think that credit cards can be used as a tool, but a lot of times they're not handled as a tool to build something, to use in your favor. A lot of times they're more damaging than they are good. So my advice to you is if you're trapped in credit card debt, start changing the behavior. And the way you change the behavior is get out of it. And you start building new behaviors where you're living within your means, you're living within your paycheck, you're not going into more debt. And you're really trying to reset your behavior so that you can build a new practice of living without debt. You don't know how good it feels until it's not on your shoulders. So I want to encourage you that there is so much more joy when you don't have that debt, when you know that you have options back on the table to do more of what you love. And your life was meant to be so much more than just waking up, going to work, scraping by with whatever little time you have left over, paying the bills, going to sleep and doing it again. It's a terrible feeling. I know it because I've been there, and I want you to be free from that. I want you to get angry at your debt and get rid of it. So please join me. Jump in the comments, encourage each other. You're part of my community, and I appreciate you being part of this. I want you to encourage each other. Have you had a success? Tell me what it felt like. What did you do? Did you dance? I love the cowbell. So we have a cowbell ritual. When we celebrate something, we shake the cowbell. When I paid that last payment towards our house, it was a cowbell celebration. And we danced on the front lawn in bare feet because it felt so good to know that we owned the house and the last of the last was off. I want to be an encouragement to you that you can do this. I want you to get excited about what that possibility is. Whatever that is, hang on to it and use that as your motivation to push through. It is not always easy, but it is so worth it on the other side. So I want you to not be the statistic. I want you to break the norm of being forever paycheck to paycheck. And there's people doing it all around you. If you start looking for that red car, you're going to find out there's red cars everywhere. So once you start talking about it, you're going to find out other people are excited too. Other people are going to encourage you. So you have what it takes. Get out there and do it. You can reach out to me if you have questions about any of this. Leah, Leah, at moneywisemom.com. You can jump on my website, hit the contact me form. That'll get an email to me. Whatever you want to do. I want to hear from you. And I can't wait to hear about the journey that you're on and the wins that you're going to have by getting debt free. Slice this up, baby. Get rid of it. Sayonara. And until next time, I hope you get out there and slay your finances. Can't wait till next week, and I hope you have a great weekend. Bye.